SpongeBob SquarePants. How about we go watch that? Okay, listen, there's this thing happening right now in entertainment that I thought we have already learned our lesson about. Like, I really thought as a society we agreed that some books are meant to stay books. They were supposed to live quietly on the shelf, maybe recommended in certain corners of the internet, discussed between readers, but not brought directly into my face in live action form. Because let's be honest, let's all be honest here, y'all, that my camera is kind of crooked right now. Hold up. There are some books out there that are just a little too much. I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. Read whatever you want, but some stories are meant to stay words on a page where your imagination fills in the blanks. Once you try to translate that to movie or shows, things get awkward real fast. Really awkward real fast. And right now we're in this era where a lot of the most popular books are coming from BookTok. Like, Barnes and Nobles literally have a whole section for BookTok. Like, the books that blow up on TikTok and suddenly everyone is talking about them. They don't even have to read it. People are just talking about it, right? Now listen, some of those books are great, but some of them, let's just say they are questionable sometimes. Okay, let's be honest here. They're questionable. And every time I hear that one of those books is getting turned into a movie or TV show, I just sit there thinking, are we sure about this? Because sometimes the things that make those books popular are the exact things that may not translate well on screen. Like, we saw when they readapt Where the Crawdads Sings. We saw when they readapt Twilight. We saw when they readapt what was it? All those other movies. Okay, now for example, one adaptation I'm really curious about is Fourth Wing, because apparently it's being adapted by Amazon Prime Videos, who recently did the Fallen books, which I watched that and was like, okay. And I'm not even saying that in a negative way. I'm actually very curious, because if you read that book, I listened to it. I shouldn't have. You know, the world is huge. There are dragons, there are battles, there are intense relationships. So part of me is genuinely wondering, how are they going to do this in live action? Like, is it going to look amazing? Because we know that dragons can look cool with Games of Thrones and stuff like that. Even though I never watched it, we know that it could look good. Or are we going to see some very questionable CGI dragons flying across the screen? I need answers. Prime Videos, I need answers. Also, if you don't know me yet, or this is your first time here, hi, my name is AnnamaRie, but you can call me Anna. Welcome to Seriously AnnamaRie. Now back to what I was talking about. I said that because here I talk about entertainment storytelling, and sometimes I get a little opinionated about certain things. And today's opinion is this: not every book needs to become a movie. Yeah, because I feel like we already went through this phase once before. You remember when 50 Shades of what? You remember when 50 Shades of Grey became the movie 50 Shades of Grey? Now listen. The book was extremely popular. Millions of people probably read it. Clearly, it had an audience. But the question is, do we need to see that story visually acted out on a giant screen in the movie theaters? Now, be honest, y'all. For me personally, no. We should not have been in the movie theaters. I wouldn't even want my kid asking me what that movie is. I'll be like, SpongeBob SquarePants. How about we go watch that? Some things are better left to the imagination. Or if you want to readapt it, just put it like on Tubi. Because when you're reading, your brain fills in details in a way that works for you. But when a movie shows you exactly what they will look like, suddenly it feels different. It feels a little different, right? It feels sometimes awkward, sometimes cringy, sometimes you're getting like hit with like, maybe this should have stayed a book in your head. Yeah, maybe this should have stayed a book. And this makes me wonder something about writers in general. You know, when authors write their books, are they thinking, yeah, this will make a great movie someday? Or are they just trying to tell a story? Because not every story is structured in a way that works visually. Because books can spend pages exploring someone's thoughts, emotions, and inner dialogue, right? But movies don't have that luxury, and a film has maybe 2 hours or maybe even 3 to tell the story. So things get cut, characters get simplified, moments get rushed. Like with where the crawdad sings, that book was so good, but when I watched the movie, it didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same at all. And suddenly the adaptation doesn't feel the same as the book people fell in love with, right? Another reason some books shouldn't be movies is because the tone can change completely. Something that feels romantic or intense when you read it might feel uncomfortable when actors are performing it on screen. And that's not necessarily the fault of the actors or directors. It's just the reality that some storytelling formats work better in certain mediums. I don't think anyone can tell oh, movies are better than books or books are better than movies, because in the end it's all about preferences, and you can debate somebody on this if you want. Books let readers imagine, movie shows everything, and sometimes showing everything is the problem. And I think it's just a balance. They're at this thing where I don't think anyone is higher than the other. I think they're here, okay? But at the same time, I will say this: there are definitely books that do work really well as adaptations. Fantasy worlds, mysterious stories, big adventures narratives, those can translate beautifully when filmmakers have the right budget and vision. You can look at One Piece. Literally look at One Piece, y'all. Literally. So I'm not against adaptations completely. I just think the entertainment industry sometimes forget that popularity doesn't always equal cinematic potential. Just because a book sells millions of copies doesn't mean it needs to become the next big streaming series. Sometimes it's just okay for a story to remain exactly where it started, or just talk about to the author what you would do and how it would change. Because let's be honest, if it was a TV show, it would be a little different, but it's a movie. So it's not. It's separate, okay? And honestly, I think that's part of what makes reading special, because books let you imagine something your own way. They create a world inside your head that belongs entirely to you. The moment that world gets turned into a movie, it becomes someone else's interpretation. And sometimes that interpretation just doesn't match what readers love about the story in the first place. I hope that makes sense, because let me drink some water. So now I'm curious, well, all these BookTok's books getting picked up for adaptations, are we about to enter another era of wild books to movie experiments? Because please tell me, I would like to be prepared. Or are some of these actually going to turn out amazing? Because I'll be honest, I'm definitely thinking about watching that Fourth Wing adaptation when it drops. I don't know when it's going to drop. I don't know how long it's going to take for those CGI dragons to look. If dragons starts flying across my screen, I need to see how they did it, right? Because Avatar did a really good job on it. I hope we get something like that on that level, but we don't know. But what do you think? Are there some books that should never become movies? Or do you think any story can work with the right director? Because this conversation is getting really interesting as more and more BookTok books are getting picked up by Hollywood, or even not even Hollywood, like other places. I'm curious. With that being said, I see you around. Bye bye.